What's going on, T-shirt millionaires? I'm Charles Smith, and today I'm going to be walking you through the T-shirt Facebook ad funnel. This is a concept that is extremely important, and it's actually the reason why some e-commerce brands thrive and then others end up failing and not working at all. And so when you're running your Facebook ads, you have to understand what happens between the first time somebody is exposed to your brand all the way until they pay you for your product and you end up turning that prospect into a customer. And everything between there is very, very important. But once you get these concepts, it can absolutely change the game for you and take you to the next level, and you'll understand how you can have an e-commerce store and a t-shirt brand online that really thrives and grows over time. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, everybody, so let's go ahead and get into these concepts and talk about the full t-shirt Facebook ads funnel. But before we get started, I wanted to let everybody know that the T-shirt Millionaires Mastermind is now open for enrollment. We are going to be starting a brand new cohort here in the upcoming weeks. And so if you're somebody where you want to get with a group of hungry t-shirt brand owners, have access to some really exclusive training and learning to take your t-shirt brand to the next level, you can go to tshirtmillionaires.com and sign up and enroll for the T-shirt Millionaires Mastermind. But today we're going to go ahead and talk about t-shirt Facebook ads. And what I'm going to do is walk you through the full funnel. So at the very beginning of this, you're going to see it says ad. And this is when somebody is exposed to your brand for the very first time, and we run our Facebook and Instagram ads. And so what I'm going to be doing is walking you through the very first time somebody is exposed, and then what happens in between time to get us all the way to the end where we turn that person who saw that ad into a customer, and we turn our t-shirts into cash, okay? And so what we have here is basically a diagram of there are 6 steps that somebody has to go through when they go through your specific funnel. And basically, for me personally, I use Shopify. I'm a huge Shopify advocate. And with that being said, this happens when somebody ends up seeing your ad, and on that ad, we send them to a product page. And then after that, if they're interested enough, they end up clicking the cart button or the add to cart button, and they go to your cart. And then after that, they get to the checkout. And then after that, they go to shipping, and then they make the payment, and then we turn them into a customer afterwards. And the way that I like to look at the full funnel is basically like a pipe. So if you look at these 2 horizontal red lines, you can look at those and say, just kind of envision it like a pipe. You know what I'm saying? Like a horizontal pipe. Boom, let me make sure. All right, cool. I had to make sure the battery was good on my phone. But so what we're trying to do, the whole objective of this pipe is we have water, right? We've got water that we're trying to get through this pipe, right? And we want to take the water all the way through the pipe and get to the other end. And so let's start at the very beginning. And so what we have here is, like I said, we're talking about the Facebook ad. And so somebody is scrolling through Facebook, they're scrolling through Instagram, they're looking at, different things. They're not really looking for your product, but then your product ends up crossing their screen and they stop on it, right? And the way that you get people to stop on your ads is you have to have a customer to audience match, right? Or message to audience match. And when I say message to audience match, what we have to do is we have to have a message that resonates with a specific audience, but you need both of those elements. Your ad will not catch the attention of somebody and get them to click unless you have those elements. So you have to have a message that matches with an audience, right? And if you have the right message, but you have the wrong audience, you're never going to be able to match and get somebody interested in that ad. And if you have the wrong message with the right audience, that's never going to happen as well. So you have to make sure you have both of those components. But when you do have a good message to audience match, what happens is that pipe opens up, and this is the first doorway into your funnel. And then we start bringing them through. Okay. All right. So we get to that second step of the funnel. Now, what happens is, say for instance, they saw that ad, they clicked on it. We sent them directly to a product page. All right. So there's different places that you can send, your customers or your prospects when you show your ads. Some people might send them to a home page. Some people might send them to a collection page. But in this scenario, we're going to say that we send them directly to a product page. And for instance, one of the big things that is important is when we do send them to our website and we send them to this product page, we want to make sure that that product is congruent with the ad. So whatever shirt they saw on that specific ad, we want to make sure we show them pretty much that same shirt when they get to the website, so it's congruent. All right, so they end up getting to this product page. And so what are they doing at this point in time? They're looking at the shirt. The prices are revealed to them. They're able to see, sizes, right? And they're going to make a decision if they want to add it to the cart or not. And so there's some very important things that we need to make sure that we have on our product pages so we can push those people through that funnel and get them from the product page to the cart. We have to make sure we have some things in place. And so with that being said, one of them is basically shipping details, right? When people place orders online, people want to know when they are going to get their stuff. That's one of the primary things on their mind is, if I spend my money today, I pull up my credit card and I buy this, when am I going to get this? Okay. And a lot of people neglect this fact. And what happens is they don't put anything about shipping details on the product page. So what that leaves the customer to do is have to maybe leave that specific product page, go search on your site somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to try to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take time. You're messing up the whole flow, right? We want to make this simple. We want everything to be in the right place because we're trying to push them all the way through this pipe and through this funnel. So with that being said, we want to have shipping details. Also, some other important things are specs about the product. Do you have a Bella Canvas 3001? Is this a Gildan sweatshirt? Do they run true to size, right? This is a big question that I've gotten a whole bunch of times. Does the shirt run true to size? Does it fit big or does it fit small? So we want to make sure we have those important elements. And then also we want to have some good imagery, you know what I'm saying? And when I say imagery, basically the product photos. So make sure you have a good mock-up, you know what I'm saying? And then even maybe somebody wearing the shirt. I was in a Facebook group one time and I saw this question and it was really good feedback. And somebody asked, when you go to buy a t-shirt online, do you buy it when it's just a mock-up? And there were a lot of people in the comments that were like, no, when it's just a mock-up, I don't buy it. I want to see somebody wearing it because they've purchased from stores before, gotten it in the mail, and it doesn't look as good as it looks online. So that's really something that, the people who take things to the next level, you want to get some good imagery there, right? So those are the things that we want to have on the specific product page, along with a few other things, but those are really important. And then you can also tell a little bit of story about, the shirt, you know what I'm saying? How did you come up with the idea? What does this design mean? Put a little personality on it. Don't just talk about the specs, but have a little bit of story. I'm always saying to people, listen, people will buy into the message of your brand first. And then if they buy into that message and you put that message on products, there's going to be a natural step for them to go ahead and buy. So, make sure you list those things on the product page. But when you get it right on your product page and you have a winning design, basically what happens is that pipe opens up, right? And then we get to the cart. So we're going to take that a little bit further. So we've gotten past the product page, that water is flowing a little bit, and then we get to the cart. And so there's a couple of different ways the carts are constructed. So, when people get to the add to cart on my websites, basically I have a drawer. So in the top right-hand corner, there's like a cart drawer that slides out, and then people are able to see what they put in the cart. And then at the bottom of the cart, there's a button that basically says like checkout, right? And it'll take them to the checkout if they're ready. But I like the drawer because it gives people the opportunity not just to go to another page. They can stay on that page, and if they want to shop and look at related items, they have the ease of being able to do that, as opposed to if you go to a strictly cart page, you're going to have to go back in your browser, and it just takes a little bit of time. So I'm always trying to, do the things that make the ease of purchase as simple as possible, right? We want to make it simple for people. We don't want people to get confused. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get too fancy. Let's make things simple and clean. And so I like the cart drawer. But a lot of people do. They have a add to cart, or they have a cart page, and that's perfectly fine as well. There's no issues with having a cart page. But one of the things that, I think that should be optimized on that cart page is making sure that you have something about like the payment methods such as like PayPal, right? So on mine, I think I have like we accept PayPal. And so what this is doing is prepping people to end up going to that next checkout page. And a lot of the times on people's websites, there's like the PayPal button or like the Google Pay button or the Apple Pay button that ends up showing on the product page in the cart. I'm not a big fan of that, and I'll tell you why in a little bit when we get to the checkout section. But basically, like I said, I like prepping them for, PayPal. PayPal is a really good option. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. But I try to make it as clean as possible. I don't try to add too many buttons. There's no designs. There's no logos. I just want them to see what they put in, have the button be clear as day, and they can go ahead and hit checkout. And so when you get that part right, they're going to go to the next step of the funnel. But one thing that I do want to talk about before we move to the checkout section is that there is a term called abandoned cart. And this happens a lot. If you have like a Shopify store, go to your store, click on orders, then click on like abandoned cart. I think that's the specific label for it. And basically you can see the dollar amount of people who have abandoned your cart. And when you look at that number, sometimes it's like sickening because you look, it's like so much money that's being left on the table. But what you want to do is if people do end up leaving at this cart stage, you want to have mechanisms in place to be able to get back in front of them. All right. So when we look at e-commerce, maybe about 3% might convert on that very first visit. So it's super important for us to bring those people back, right? We got to get back in front of them. And just because they left does not mean that they are not interested in your brand. Sometimes life got in the way. Maybe their battery died. Maybe they needed to wait till payday. But we need to stay in front of those people and get, have a few more touches to bring them back into our world and bring them back into our website. So you want to have things like email. You want to have things like text message. You want to have things like retargeting ads that go on Facebook and Instagram. You might want to have banner ads. So there's a lot of ways to be able to get back in front of your customer. And we want to make sure that we do that when people end up abandoning the cart. But let's say we have somebody who is interested and they are ready to, start the checkout process. We open that up and that pipe is unclogged here. And then we are going to walk them from the cart to the checkout. Okay. So when it comes to the specific checkout, especially for the people who have Shopify, you'll notice at the very top of the checkout, there's you can have the option for like a PayPal button and then also like Apple Pay and Google Pay and stuff like that. And so I'm not a big fan of having those buttons there. And this is the reason why. So if you end up clicking one of those buttons, it's going to take you to PayPal, right? And so you'll be at the checkout page. Under that, this is where you fill out your billing information, not your billing, but your name, your address, your phone number, your email address. You're going to put that information on that very first page, like your contact info. And basically, when you get that information, it gets stored. When they type in that information, it gets stored in your store's database, right? So you'll have access to it. And then you can follow up with them based on the email address that they put in, and then even the phone number that they put in. But when you have those PayPal buttons up there, it's going to take you to PayPal. They'll fill that information out, but that information, from my understanding, is not stored in your store. So if they end up abandoning the cart using PayPal, then you're never going to be able to follow back up with them as with the email or maybe even like a text message. So I like to hide those specific buttons at the top, and there's ways to do that, but I like to hide those buttons at the top so they can fill out their name, their email address, their address, their phone number. And if they end up abandoning later on in the process, then I can end up bringing them back and marketing to them still on email channels or text message channels or a few others. And so, that's how I like it. Also, this is an opportunity where people are entering in like their important, like sensitive information. So I also like to let them know on that page, if you have any questions, between now and getting your order, here's the customer support email address, reach us here, right? And so once they're entering that information, I want to build trust as much as possible. And it's just great to have something like that there to let them know that they can reach out to you if they have any questions. So I do that on my specific checkout page. And then after that, if everything works out well, then that moves them through the next part of the funnel. Okay. So that blockage is opened up. And we have moved them now from the checkout all the way to the shipping page, okay? Now, let's talk about shipping. We live in this world, in this day and age where we have Amazon Prime, right? And people are used to free shipping. And there are people out there that, I've seen this in a group as well. There are people out there that are like, if it doesn't offer free shipping, like I'm out, like I'm not paying for it, right? So people do not buy because of that, but not everybody. There's people who, still will go ahead and pay the shipping, but there's a lot of people who would prefer free shipping. And like I said, we live in this Amazon age where free shipping is available there, and it's like 2-day shipping at that. So, you can offer free shipping. That might be an item or an option for you. Now, one thing is, for me, I personally don't offer free shipping because I do drop shipping. So the costs are already a little bit lower when we talk about the drop shipping model or print on demand model. But what you could possibly do is offer free shipping, but you add the shipping cost within the total price of the shirt. So you might raise the price of the shirt a little bit, offer free shipping, and then it just offsets each other. But that'll be your choice in how you choose to do it. Like I said, some people offer free shipping. You might be able to pad the price. Or, there's some people that even profit off of shipping. Like shipping might be, $4. People might add another $1.50 on that. So, there's different ways to go about it. You have to decide it. But I just did want to bring up the concept about free shipping. But if somebody ends up, they're like, okay, I'm good. I want to go ahead and pay the shipping. I'm ready to go ahead and finish this transaction. What happens at this point in time is this specific blockage opens up in the funnel, in the pipe. So we've taken the water, we've been pushing it through the pipe, and this prospect is now at the final page, right? Which is PayPal. So with that being said, PayPal, people can pay with their, different options. They can pay with, their debit card and enter in their information, or you can give them the option to pay with like PayPal. Or you can give them the option. Something that's really good these days and people should be taking advantage of is stuff like Sezzle, stuff like Afterpay, stuff like Klarna, right? Where people can make these interest-free payments to buy your stuff over the next few months. You get the money up front, but they end up paying these companies the payments over time. So it's just a great way to be able to help people finance from you. You can get that purchase easier, but you do have those options on the payment page. Now, when it comes to people paying with their debit card and then also paying with PayPal, I have found, my personal experience is really close to like 50-50, right? There might be one that's a little higher than the other, but it's really close to 50-50. And a lot of people like to use PayPal because PayPal really favors the customer. The customer knows that if something goes wrong, if PayPal has their back and they're going to favor them for the most part. And so it's kind of like a trust factor and an easy way to be able to pay and get people to just go ahead with the process because they know PayPal is reputable and also will cover their backs. So, PayPal is super good. But, a lot of people still put in their debit card and credit card as well. So make sure you kind of offer, a few different solutions for them. There's also options like people might pay with Apple Pay or even like Google Pay and different things like that. So you might have a few, but don't have too many. Me personally, like I said, I use Sezzle. People can use a debit card, and then I also do PayPal. And PayPal and so kind of let's talk about this as well. At this specific step, this has really nothing to do with the customer, but more of you. When you have PayPal, you can manage your cash flow better, right? So when you get PayPal payments, basically you are able to get the cash immediately. So once somebody pays, you immediately get the cash, it hits your account, right? So you got better cash flow. But if people use their debit card, it might take like 2 to 3 business days. So you have to consider those things. And there's actually some really, good tricks and other things that you can do on that payment page, but we'll save that for another video. So, somebody goes through, they check everything out and they're like, okay, I'm ready to buy. They enter their payment info. They might do PayPal Payments Pro. And then basically it's, customer time. So they finished everything. We've pushed them in. We've turned them into a customer. And that is $signs, right? So we've taken them all the way. That water, we've pushed that water all the way through the pipe until we've turned them into a customer at the end. Now, there are some more advanced things that can be done when this purchase is made. And we're not going to talk about this on this specific video, but what we have after the purchase is the back end, right? So we can actually like draw another line, right? And this is going to be the back end of the funnel, right? So I'll just put like a BE, right? And that's the back end of your business. And that part of the business is where you can really take things to the next level. And the people who know how to monetize the back end and get that same customer to buy more frequently or just buy more things, period, that's where you win, right? So, like I said, that's for another video, but the front end of the funnel goes all the way from the ad to the product page, to the cart, checkout, shipping, payment, turns into a customer, and we turn those t-shirts into cash. And so when you are running your Facebook and Instagram ads, what you have to understand is that people are going to go through these funnels, and you can't just look at your ads and say, okay, they're not working or they are working. What you can do is read the metrics of your ads, and what you're going to notice is that when you look at those metrics, you're going to know, hey, maybe the click-through rate for my ad was too low, or maybe the cost per click was super high, so maybe my ad wasn't working. Maybe that was an issue, right? Or maybe my product page, I'm not talking about the brand or the product enough. The pictures don't look good, so those metrics are telling me this is where the blockage is. Or maybe I'm not offering free shipping, and so I'm looking at my metrics and the numbers are too high, for how much I'm spending on ads divided by people who have gotten to the shipping page. And so there might be an issue here, right, on my shipping page. So when you look at the metrics within the Facebook Business Manager, you'll start understanding, where the blockages are in this pipe. And then you can go directly to maybe the checkout and fix the issue, run your ads a little bit more. You measure the difference between the metrics, and then you start understanding what's working and what's not. And then once you get everything and all these blockages out of the pipe, then you can start spinning traffic, and your funnel is going to be optimized, and you can really grow your brand and grow your sales that way. And so this is super, super important. Like I said, this took a while for me to fully understand, but once I understood it, it absolutely changed the game for me. It opened my eyes up, and has helped me be able to generate over $300,000 in t-shirt sales within the last couple of years. And so this is what I love. This is my passion, and I hope that you get a lot of value from this. So with that being said, y'all, I truly appreciate you watching this video. For those who are interested in the T-Shirt Millionaires Mastermind, you can go to TSHIRTMillionaires.com, check it out. It will be a limited amount of people due to the attention that I can be able to give each student, and it's going to be a powerful 4-week period to help grow your brand. So with that being said, y'all be blessed and take care.